All right, welcome to a special Thursday edition of Ringside Reporter Podcast. We had a lot of news this week, so we decided to update you guys and let you guys know what's going on. This has been a crazy week. Beeb, has this been a crazy week or what?
Yeah, just the stuff just comes like an avalanche. The news, it's like it's like one little snowball starts running down the hill, and then after that, there's like a whole big boulder of snowballs coming down. It's like, I don't know, it never ends.
It's been insane this week, man.
It never ends.
News has come down the pike here. Very first story we got for you tonight. This is a say it ain't so, Beeb. I thought these two were gonna last forever. Triple G dumps Abel Sanchez. You heard that right. He dumped him right at the altar, baby. He just left him standing there, holding the flowers, crying in his dress. He left him, son. Triple G surprised a lot of people yesterday by dumping Abel Sanchez. He said that he wants to move forward and thanked Abel for all his boxing knowledge that he has given him. Let's see if I can read you the his official statement. So his official statement was, I want to build on what I've already achieved and continue to better myself. Therefore, I will not be training with Abel Sanchez. This was not an easy decision for me and is not a reflection of Abel's professional abilities. He's a great trainer, a loyal trainer, and a Hall of Fame trainer. There you go. So some very nice words as he fired Abel Sanchez. Some very nice words. Abel, of course, not so nice. Abel came back with, unfortunately, seems things do not change in this business. Greedy and ungrateful people and no honor. Wow. He signs a $100 million contract and insults me with a number that with my dignity and pride just won't allow me to take it or leave it for a crazy new number for a trainer pay-wise. He said, so in case you haven't figured it out, the whole thing is about money. And it says here he was earning Abel Sanchez was getting paid about 10% of Golovkin's purse, which is about the norm. That's what most trainers get paid. Sanchez said the pay cut was substantial, and it was a take it or leave it offer. Abel Sanchez told the LA Times, big money makes greedy people. It's all about money. I was given a take it or leave it offer to take 1/5 of what I was earning before. I did my part. I did my job. Wow. According to Sanchez, he met with Golovkin and his lawyer on March 19th when they informed him that the boxer was restructuring things and Sanchez would have to get paid a new fixed amount instead of earning the percentage deal. Beeb, good move?
Well, it's always about the money, isn't it? It's not really about the legacy per se. The legacy is never, ever the number one on the bucket list of things that are important for boxers. It's there, but it's never number one. They may not tell you that it's money, but it's money. This reminds me of the situation with Sugar Ray Leonard and Angelo Dundee, because the thing is when fighters give a percentage, the more they make, the bigger that percentage gets. So if they were used to only giving up a specific amount, and then that amount becomes greatly increased, then obviously the percentage amount becomes greatly increased too. So they say to themselves, well, a lot of fighters tend to do this. They tend to want to give flat rates when they start making the multi-million dollars, because if they're given a percentage of $10 million, that's 10% of that. It's substantial. It's different when you're giving tens of thousands of dollars away as opposed to millions or $1 million or whatever. So I can kind of see both sides to it. I find it very ironic that Abel Sanchez is calling him greedy, but obviously he's complaining about the money too. So he must have to look in the mirror too, because the guy did sign a $100 million contract. I understand that. So what's he supposed to give you, $10 million of that? That's a lot of money,
right?
To train somebody. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So that I can see both sides of it, because obviously the percentage changes when the amount gets greater, because you take a smaller percentage of a greater amount, you're basically making the same. So essentially what Abel Sanchez wanted was a raise because Golovkin got a raise, so he decided that he deserves a raise too. And
Golovkin's taking all the punches, though.
Golovkin's taking the punches. So could they have met somewhere in the middle? Who knows? Was it a take it or leave it offer? I don't know. Because Sanchez tends to exaggerate things. And I can't say that, I'm not calling him a liar, but I've seen him say things and then double talk and kind of contradict himself in the past. So I have a hard time, honestly, believing, in my opinion, that it was a take it or leave it offer. I just think that he wanted that 10%, and he wasn't going to get that 10%, and Golovkin said, see you later. So in my opinion, if I'm looking at the situation and I'm Abel Sanchez, if I'm going to get a smaller percentage of a bigger purse, it could. So in other words, say he took 5%, so 5% of that $100 million over the course of how long the contract is still probably more than what he was getting compared to all of Golovkin's other purses. Because outside of the Canelo fight, Triple G hasn't made he made good money, but not like insane money like he made for Canelo, and not insane money that he's making now. So I just find it funny when someone calls another person greedy when they're complaining about how much money they're getting. It's the same thing. Right. So anyone that has money obviously wants to hold on to it. I know, people can be cheap or whatever, but I guess the whole going back to the Sugar Ray Leonard story. I don't know if you heard this story. I guess what happened was Sugar Ray Leonard supposedly made $13 million for Hagler, and then I think he gave Angelo Dundee something like $25,000 of that, and Angelo Dundee was like, "This is horrible," and then they parted ways. So what's 25,000? What percentage is that compared to the 13 million that he got?
That ain't 10%. Tell you that.
Huh?
I said that ain't 10%. I tell you.
No, it ain't 10%. It's probably in the low single digits. Correct?
Yeah, I would say.
So something like that's a little bit crazy. Giving him a flat fee of 25,000. He probably could have thrown maybe, I don't know, $200,000-300,000 or something like that. But he gave him $25K off of a $13 million purse. So that's why he Angelo Dundee left Sugar Ray Leonard.
How many fights has Triple G signed on for? I know it's a $100 million deal, but is it 6 fights?
I thought it was 6 fights. Yeah. So 6 fights.
Yeah. What does that break down to?
100 million divided by 6. Let me double check this here. Do the math. So 100 million divided by 6. It's like 16 million a fight.
It's about 16 and a half a fight.
Yeah, like 16.6 of a fight. So times that by 10%.
So 1.6 million per fight.
So Sanchez thought he should get 1.6 million per fight to train Golovkin. It's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of money. Does what is Canelo? 30. What's Canelo? 350 million. 356.
Yeah, it's like 33 million a fight.
What is it? 10 fights or 11?
11.
Yeah, so 32 million a fight. So 3.2 million to Eddie Reynoso. Is that happening? I don't know.
That's a lot of money. It's different.
But is he giving Reynoso 3.2 million per?
Well, here's another thing
too. That's the industry standard when you're making X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not the industry standard. I don't know that is the industry standard when you're making that kind of money.
But
Crazy
a lot
money.
I think Manny Pacquiao was giving Freddie Roach a flat fee too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think I heard.
Yeah,
because this is the thing. Once you get to a certain point, you're making a lot of money. That percentage becomes 10% of a lot of money is a big chunk, Eric. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So obviously, I could see where the fighter's coming from. It's just like when a fighter first starts out, right? You know, he a lot of times when he's not making big money, the promoter or the manager won't even take a cut. You know what I mean? Until they make deals, they give the fighter stipends and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when the fighter starts making big money, that's when they take their percentage. So now, when a fighter is making huge money, and all of a sudden he's got to give a big chunk of that to his trainer, it's just like when you get a percentage, a raise, and you get like a 2% raise or a 3% raise. When you're talking about like people who make like friggin' $200,000 a year, that 2% raise is a lot of money. But is that 2% raise a lot of money to someone who's making $40K? No, right?
So am I to believe that when Mayweather fought Pacquiao, and he got $400 million, that he gave $40 million to Floyd Sr.?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
so that's why this whole percentage thing can become crazy after a while when you're talking about substantial amounts.
I mean, when you're making a $3 million for a fight, that's a little different than making $16 million a fight. You know what I mean? And I get it's the industry standard, but I mean, how many? I'd be real curious to see. Like I said, I'd be curious to see if I was paying Reynoso $3 million.
A lot of guys are getting flat fees, Eric.
They would have to, because it gets out of hand when you talk about percentages when you start getting in the upper echelons like that.
Yeah,
and Abel, honestly, I mean, Abel may have been a penny wise and a pound foolish in this whole thing, because I don't know what the split was. I don't know what the pay scale was. I don't know anything, but I know they're saying it was less than 10%. But even less than 10%, what was he looking at? 1.6 million? I mean, even less than 10%. He was probably going to make more money with Triple G than he had with any other fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then for him to kind of throw that out, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Suleiman, we are not taking calls tonight. I apologize, man. But, I mean, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, man. And just because he makes the $100 million doesn't mean you automatically get a cut of that.
Exactly.
It's not we're rich. He's rich. He's the one taking all the risk in there. What are you going to tell him? I mean, honestly, what are you going to tell him?
Eric.
He's 35 years old. He's got over 30 fights. What exactly are you going to go over with him? Eric,
if he took 5% of the 16.6 million, right? That's 830,000. Was he making was he making 830,000 a fight with Golovkin before? So even if he took the 5%, or even if he took 3%, that's 500K. If you took 3%, that's 500K.
That's still a boatload of money.
That's 500K.
Would be happy to get that kind of money.
500K. So he said it was a fifth. So he was getting 10% before. So now what was he saying? So what was he saying? He was getting 2% then? So let's run the numbers at 2%. That's 332,000.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Those crazy numbers,
times that by 2. That's $664,000 for just one fighter. See, there's another thing he doesn't understand. He's got a lot of fighters. Yeah. Triple G's only got one body. He's only making money off his body. Right. This guy's making money off of a fucking fleet, a freaking squad of fighters.
Yeah.
So for him to cry about getting $664,000 a year from one fucking fighter,
you can't sleep on that at night. You know what I mean? That's what he said. He said he gave me an offer I couldn't sleep on at night, dude.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. I just don't like him. I just never been a big fan of him anyways. He's always been a shit talker. He's always been kind of an egomaniac. Wants to take credit for things, and I just don't like it when the fighter gets fucked over, and I don't like when the fighter gets overshadowed. I don't like it when someone else takes credit. Just like when a fighter makes excuses and blames things on the trainer when he loses. I don't like when the trainer tries to take credit from the fighter when he wins.
Right.
Boxing
for IBF in the chat just says, and trainers got a longer shelf life than fighters. He's 100%.
Exactly.
100%.
And this guy's at the tail end of his career. My only problem with Golovkin is all that and I don't even know if it was him talking. I think a lot of people talked for him. Oh, my goal is to unify. I don't care about the money. I care about the legacy. I want to unify these titles before I move up and this and that. And a lot of, he kind of contradicted those statements. Oh, he wasn't never the one that said, I'll fight anyone from 154 to 175. That was friggin' Sanchez. So Sanchez ran his mouth a lot in that camp, and he actually got Golovkin in a lot of PR problems.
Yeah.
A lot of the stupid quotes and stuff coming out of Sanchez's mouth. That Triple G had to own that shit. That's his trainer. He's got to own it. So, I don't know. Emmanuel Stewart got a flat fee of $400K from Lennox Lewis, which is fine. That's fair.
Yeah, and the other thing you guys got to think about too, like when you talk about the fighter's salary, so he gets $16 million a fight, but he doesn't. That's like saying you make $80,000 a year. You really don't, because you got to pay taxes. You got to pay all of this. They're no different. They got to pay taxes. The paycheck's cut in half, and then after that, they got to go. They got to pay the cut man. They got to pay the trainers. They got to pay the, like I said, 10% going right away to the trainer. I mean, they've got a lot of expenses. They've got a lot of expenses.
And let me ask you this, Eric, not to cut you off. Who does Sanchez have to divide his cut up with?
Right. Nobody.
Right?
He's got to pay his gym. That's it.
Fuck him, man. I'm sorry. I just don't like when people try to screw the fighters over, man. Yeah. Golovkin, he's put in a lot of work, man. He's been in some tough fights with Canelo. Been in a tough fight with Jacobs. He's starting to have his wear and tear on his body. Let him go out the way he wants to go out. Let him go out with as much money as he can go out with. He's got a family. He's got a wife. The hell with Sanchez, man.
Yeah, he's got to do what's best for him, not what's best for Sanchez. I mean, he's the one that signed the deal. Sanchez didn't sign a deal. You know what I mean? I mean, he didn't. I mean, listen, if that's what you're worth, great, go out and get it. But listen, Sanchez didn't sign a deal.
No.
He's not working with DAZN. His man, Triple G, is working with DAZN.
No.
And I'll be honest, man, I don't know how much Triple G's got left.
No, I'm not wishing bad on anyone. I hope that he can fight to the end of that contract. But unless he's matched carefully, for those 6 fights, he may not finish. Because if he suffers, he decides to fight Canelo again, and maybe Canelo knocks him out this time, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, you know what? Let me move up to 168. I'll fight Callum Smith. Then he puts a beating on him, right? Say he has a tough fight with him. He ends up taking a lot of punishment in that fight. That's back-to-back 2 tough fights, right?
Right.
You don't think he's going to retire off that?
Well, and you think about like Demetrius Andrade. I mean, dude, that guy's no joke. I'm not 100% sure Triple G gets past him. I don't think he does. Andrade can fight, man.
I think Andrade can beat Triple G right now. Yes,
absolutely.
And Andrade may be able to beat Canelo too. That because of his size.
Yeah.
The thing about I love Danny Jacobs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Andrade is so slick defensively, and he's so tricky. He's so hard to get a read on. Danny Jacobs is a phenomenal fighter. Taking nothing away from him, but I just think that Andrade is very underrated in his power. He's very underrated in his speed. And he's just a hard guy to hit. The guy moves. He moves beautifully.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of
Pernell Whitaker.
Well, Andre Ward.
Ward.
Not necessarily his style, but in the sense that like you know it's going to be a difficult night with him.
Yeah,
because he can make you look bad. And you're right, a lot like Pernell Whitaker, where Pernell Whitaker made you look bad.
Yeah,
See
the way he dips and ducks and bends at the waist.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
He's got great, and he's got a great pair of legs as well as usually guys that have great legs, like guys like Amir Khan, guys like Manny Pacquiao. They rely on their legs so much. as a means to get them in and out, into attack position and out of danger.
Right.
Andre has the ability to stand in front of you and dip and duck and slip and slide, as well as use his legs and move. Most guys don't have both. He has both.
Yeah. Incidentally, talking about Canelo, did you hear that the 3 judges for the Jacobs fight are going to be the same judges that judged the Triple G Canelo 2? They gave him the win. I mean, they are stacking the deck against Jacobs, man. It's insane. It's insane. But his guys are going along with it. Why are they going along with this, man? Right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're already opening up a can of worms here to controversy.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
For sure. So if it's a close fight, I mean, and Jacobs is not known as a knockout kind of guy. I mean, we saw him knock out Quillen, but I mean, let's be realistic about things, man. You talk about Canelo, you talk about Triple G. He couldn't, those are 2 big fighters, and he couldn't, like I said, he couldn't knock out Triple G. I don't know that he's going to be able to knock out Canelo. So you kind of look at this going to a decision. If it's close, even if it's, I mean, I don't know, man. It's not a good look, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But let's stay on this topic here for a minute here, just for another minute. You brought up a really good point on who you think his next trainer should be. Triple G said he's going to announce his new trainer next week. I've heard, I think Michelle Rosado said she'd like to see him with Joe Goosen, which, I mean, I don't hate that. He's located in LA, so it works. What about you? You had a very interesting one.
I think he's going to go with Robert Garcia.
How amazing would that be? I mean, Garcia is a really, really good trainer. And all his guys are always in shape. They're always prepared. They don't always win, but they are always in shape. They're always very well schooled. Yeah, I think that's...
And Garcia is a guy that never complains that he's not getting enough money from the fighter. You know why? Because he's got like a football team of fighters in his stable. And he's got a gym and everything. I mean, he's got a lot going on. He's doing well. Abel Sanchez has, I think he does. I think he's a construction. He has a construction
builds houses or something like that.
Yeah, he has a construction business, or he's a house builder or something like that. So he's
probably does pretty well. I mean,
he wants to call Triple G greedy. I mean, come on. This guy's making money without getting punched in the face.
Right.
What's he think he's gonna? What's he expecting? What's he want to make more than some of these fighters out there who aren't like in the top tier?
Right.
All
right. So let's move on to our next topic here. Your boy Louis Ortiz turns down Anthony Joshua. Louis Ortiz claims that Hearn gave him a lowball offer, and that's why he didn't take the fight. We heard that he couldn't get in shape in time. We've heard a lot of rumors or whatever. He said that he gave him a lowball offer. Comes out this week that $5 million was the lowball offer, and some are saying, and Eddie Hearn himself said it was more than that. He'll when Joshua's next opponent is announced, probably next week, that he'll give out the entire details and everything like that of what they offered him.
Yeah.
And some people are saying it was closer to $7 million.
Wow.
$7 million.
And he got $500K for Wilder.
That's right.
Oh my God! And here's the difference between him and Wilder. Wilder, you can kind of understand somewhat what he's doing, because when he does fight Joshua, it's going to be a mega fight. It's going to be a mega fight, and he's probably going to continue. The longer he waits, the more he's going to make. Ortiz is not in that same situation. He's complaining about guys not wanting to fight him. He's complaining about having a hard time getting the big money fights. He's complaining that he's been chasing Joshua for so long, and Joshua has been ducking him.
Look,
that's what he said. Go ahead.
It's real simple. $5 million is not a lowball offer. $7 million is not a lowball offer.
No.
And you claim that he's ducking you and all this other stuff, that he's been chasing him and blah blah blah. He called you out. He made you a serious offer. This is what I consider a serious offer. If he would have offered him $500K for this fight, yeah, I got it. Not the case here, man. $5 million.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's probably closer to $7 million. Yeah, and Kabir just said it in the chat. Ortiz is 40. He's dumb. I think he's about 55, son. And he's dumb to turn down 5 to 7. Yes, he is. He's absolutely stupid. He just pulled, in my mind, he just pulled a Big Baby Miller, where in the sense that Big Baby was going to get the biggest payday of his life. He flushed it down the toilet. He'll never get that opportunity again. Never.
Sabotaged his career right there.
Sabotaged it. And then, and we'll talk more about Miller later, but, going back to Ortiz, he did the same thing, completely flushed this opportunity. Why? I don't understand that. Why would you flush this? They said that he's promised, I guess they think that he was promised a Wilder shot, like a rematch later on in the year.
Yeah, but how much is he gonna get for that?
Well, you know what? Yeah, right. That's number one, is how much is he gonna get for that? Because I'm not paying for that fight. The first one was on free TV. There's no reason to put the second one on pay, So he's not going to get, I don't know that he's going to get $5 to $7 million for that fight. But listen, man, you just fought for a world title for $500,000. That was his career high.
Well, you know something else too. A lot of times people want to give these fighters the benefit of the doubt and say, well, you know what? They have managers that they pay. They have advisors that they pay. They have lawyers.
Is his advisor.
They have lawyers that they pay, right? But at some point in time, Eric, when do you just say, you know what, guys, I got this. I got this. Let me do this, man. I got this. Because Mikey Garcia was advised to not fight Errol Spence, but he took that fight on his own volition. He wanted that fight. At some point, the fighter's got to put his foot down and say, you know what, thank you for the advice, but I got this. And Ortiz should have done that in this situation, because I'm sure someone was in his ear telling him to say no.
I don't think, and pure speculation on my part, completely pure speculation on my part, no valid merit to this at all. My personal opinion is that I don't think he would have passed the drug test. Honestly, what else could you say about that?
Yeah.
Because listen, man, how many times, let me ask you a question, and fighters and everything, how many times have you heard a fighter talk about, I'm going to get this opponent and it falls through? Like daily in the boxing world. Hey, we're going to go after this guy and it just fell through. This happens all the time.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And let me ask you this too. If he is on this blood pressure medication, right? Which if he is, I understand. Whatever. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm not gonna say anything derogatory about that because it's medicine and that's some serious business. If he has an ailment,
right?
But the thing about it is did he now that he's popped, he failed the drug test, he popped positive because of that medicine, right? Has he gone to the commission and said, well, this is the medicine I'm going to be taking regularly? So has he given any medical information from his doctor to provide to the commission to allow himself to take this medicine? I haven't heard anything, right? So then that makes you say to yourself, was his whole reasoning and excuse legitimate for that blood pressure medication? Because if that's me, first thing I'm doing is getting some information from my doctor, having him write it up or whatever, so I can provide that to the commission. Has that been done? I haven't heard that it's been done or not.
Why isn't that everybody's first reaction when they go to the doctor and they get an antibiotic or some medicine, or again, if they have a blood pressure ailment or diabetes or whatever? I take every one of my prescriptions and I check them in with VADA and say, hey, look, this is what I'm taking. Boom, boom, boom. I need an exemption form for this. This is what I need, blah, blah, blah. Why isn't he doing that? Or why? If you're a fighter, why isn't that the first thing you do?
Well, that's the first thing I do when I go to the doctors. When I go to my eye doctor, the first question he asks me, not only what medications you taking, he asks me what supplements am I taking?
Yes.
Because he wants to know, right? And I tell him. And then if I go to another doctor, if I go to a specialist for something, what medications are you taking, what vitamins are you taking, and what supplements are you taking? So if I'm willing and able to give that information up, why would these guys not be willing to? Because obviously they're holding something back, correct?
You know, I tell you what, my father, he goes to the doctor once every couple of weeks, okay? Every time he walks in the doctor's office, even though they just saw him like a week or two before, they
Yes.
ask him, here's your list of medications. Are you still on these?
Anything change? Anything change? Anything change? Exactly.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the thing, man. Omar Rodriguez said, "Beeb, do you tell any of the doctors what PEDs you're taking?" Wow.
I already had this and you know what? Thank you so much for the compliment, because if I look like I take PEDs, oh my God, thank you so much.
But Mexican supplements.
But I tell people this all the time. I work for the city. I can't take anything because I do get tested. I can't take anything.
They test you? Did they test you for like steroids and stuff?
I can't take any of that shit. Yeah, I test you for everything. It's a city job.
I didn't know they tested you for that. I thought they would just test you for like narcotics and stuff.
Can't have any of that shit in your system. No way.
Got that in my system all the time, son.
But I love it when these people. I love it when these people tell me that I'm on stuff, because I love it. I love it. It makes me.
Out, man. You look good, man.
I take it as a compliment.
You look good, man. Been working out.
If I look like I'm on, if I look like I'm on the stuff and I'm not, then guess what? I'm achieving my goal.
That's right. That's right.
I'm achieving my goal.
There you go.
Thank you, Omar Rodriguez.
Yeah. So I mean, again, man, $7 million. Let me tell you about another thing. This also surfaced out here, and it was reported by Coppinger, your boy, Mike Sources Coppinger. Andrew Konoski also turned down the fight with AJ because he was in the running for it, so that he could face Robert Helenius this summer. You heard that right. Yeah, you heard that right. So he turned down 5. I don't actually, you know what? I don't know how much they offered him. Probably a little bit lower than Ortiz. But he turned down all the belts for that fight. Robert Helenius.
Wow.
Robert, let that sink in for a minute. Robert Helenius. Let that sink in.
No, I agree.
Down.
I agree.
Insane, right? Insane. And all these guys are claiming that Joshua's ducking them and everything like that. Talk about, you said you watched that PBC show. I don't ever watch it. I just think it's corny. I just think they just talk about I don't know. It's just corny. It's just corny to me. And they had the 4 champions on there, where they have Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Leo Santa Cruz, I think, was on it. Was that correct?
Yes.
And you said they were asking them, what's the most important thing, money or legacy? And Deontay Wilder was also on it. They all said legacy, which is all nonsense. And then Deontay Wilder came on and said legacy. Well, if that's correct, I mean, you just turned down a fight with Joshua for the money.
For the money.
So what is it? Is this about legacy? I mean, you unified champion then. Is this about legacy, or is this about, money? Listen, guys,
it's always about the money. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but
nothing wrong with that.
It's just like, dude, just be
just like
honest about it. Don't say Joshua's ducking you and they lowball, because you're sitting here, you're talking about money. I mean, it's the same thing.
And not to change the subject, but I just want to real briefly just say, it's not necessarily, what a fighter does in terms of, like, if he does fight for the money, there's no shame in saying I fight for the money. Just like Amir Khan, there would have been no shame in him just stopping and saying, you know what, I'm way behind in this fight, I'm getting beat up, I want to stop. And then, the way that fight ended, and then he goes and says, well, I could have continued after that. There's no way he wanted to continue after being under all that heat. And that's why I don't jump on the guy, but I'm going to be critical of him because I think he's being disingenuous. So I don't think fans would care if a guy says, you know what, I fight for the money, because no one really cared that Floyd Mayweather said it. They still bought his pay-per-views, correct?
Yeah.
So So there's nothing wrong with just being honest. But when you start bullshitting with people, you start being disingenuous with the fans, that's when the fans turn on you. And that's why Amir Khan has a lot of people who don't like him, because he says a lot of incredulous things that are totally like out of left field, that he can't believe himself, but he still says them. He knows he was losing that fight badly. He knows that there was no light at the end of the tunnel for him in that fight.
No.
And he just wanted to stop. So it's the same thing. Like, these fighters, they need to understand that, fans are going to call them out when they bullshit us. And that's just the way it is.
And that's, what, and going back to Amir Khan, and you know what, the fact that it's okay. It's
okay. It's okay.
It's more than okay. I mean, he was in there with a tornado last week, man. There was nobody on the planet that was going to beat that guy.
Look, he did what a lot of people wouldn't even do. He signed a contract, and he actually stepped in the ring.
That's right.
Okay? There's a lot of guys out there who are probably tougher than him and probably arguably better than him that won't fight Crawford.
No.
Okay, so that in itself, I give him credit for that. And he landed a couple good shots, here and there. He tried. He put on a valiant effort, but it just wasn't enough. And that's okay. That's okay.
But to lie about it.
Saying
Virgil Hunter stopped it without his permission.
The fight was turning in my favor before I got hit low. There's no way you can sell that to anybody. No. You can't sell that.
No. What did you? I think we both gave him the third round, right?
Yeah, I gave him the third round. Correct.
That was it. I don't think he won a minute of it. I mean, he was murdered out there.
So what round? What round did it end in, Eric?
6.
Okay.
30 seconds into the 6th or whatever is when he got hit low.
So he was down 5 rounds to 4
rounds to 1.
4 rounds to 1, and those 4 rounds that he lost. He got beat up in each and every one of those 4 rounds.
Right.
And he suffered a knockdown.
Right.
Okay? He was behind the 8 ball, and it wasn't getting better.
No.
And then towards the end of in the 5th round, the 4th and 5th round, every time he got hit, his leg started to do a little bit of a wobble.
Right.
He was getting wobbled and hurt with every punch almost. He was getting rocked and wobbled a lot. There was no return from that. So then when he goes and says, "Oh, the fight was turning in my favor," he's taking away credit from Crawford, and that's fucking wrong. Crawford put on a masterpiece, and that he deserves all the credit in the world. Don't shit on Crawford's friggin' his parade and rain on his parade because you want to save face. There's no shame in what you did.
Yeah,
you tried.
He blamed Virgil Hunter for the stoppage, saying that he didn't, Virgil Hunter didn't ask him, or he said he wanted to continue, and Virgil Hunter stopped it. Then he blamed some chips in his elbow. He said he had bone spurs in his elbow, and that was causing it. Then he said he got hit low, and that caused it. Listen, the other thing is, what I noticed too, he didn't even take the full 5. He didn't even take the full 5. He took 2 minutes. That was it. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think anybody would have questioned that.
He actually has some people actually believing his story. I was coming on.
His family, I don't know.
Kenny Dennis, KDZ says he's coming on a little. He's coming on a little. Yeah, coming on a little where? A little. No, stop. No, he wasn't.
Come on, stop it.
No, he wasn't.
Stop it.
Stop it. He was getting rocked.
Yeah, he wasn't winning those rounds.
So how many rounds did you give him on your scorecard if he was coming on a little? Was he winning that 6th round? No.
Yeah, Reese just said, "Why didn't Khan take the full 5?" Man, your guess is as good as mine. So I don't know.
I have no problem with him not taking the fight. I have no problem with him stopping the fight. I will never question anyone's heart, call anyone any names because they decide they want to stop fighting. It's okay. You're not going to sit there and tell me if you're in the ring and you break your nose, okay? that you can continue fighting, because you could just get tapped on a broken nose and the pain is freaking excruciating.
Yeah.
Okay, there's certain injuries that you suffer in the ring or in any facet of life that you suffer, and you need medical attention. It's just that simple and plain. And I'm going to go off on your boy again, because I hate when your boy starts dropping that, insinuating that fighters have no heart and fighters.
Who?
Your boy. You know who your boy.
Dare
is.
you?
I hate when he does that.
Dare you
because
diss Teddy Atlas on this podcast? Who do you think you are?
I hate when he does that because.
Yeah, well, nobody asked you. All right, he can do what he wants when he wants. He's the GOAT.
The hell with him.
How? What?
Oh,
terrible.
For Christ's sakes, man.
All right, listen, since we're on the topic of welterweights, and we'll come back to heavyweights here in a minute, but since we're on the topic of welterweights here, Leonard Ellerbe did a interview with Helen Yee. Am I pronouncing it Helen Yee? Is that correct, Beeb?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
All right. And I'm not a big Helen Yee fan. I don't feel one way about her or the other. But she
that's a good job. Give us some credit, for Christ's sake, you misogynist. She's actually the one female person on YouTube that I do like, because she actually asks legitimate questions. She's actually a good interviewer. And she doesn't have to wear provocative clothes to get interviews either.
No, not at all. Not at all. I have a feeling Beeb is a little smitten with Helen Yee.
Don't stop playing hating already with your CB, with your CB tendencies. I don't like your CB. I don't like your CB. I don't like your CB.
There's a little bit of defense there. I got to be honest. There was a little bit of defense there.
Oh, so you and Teddy Atlas got something going on then, because of how you're so smitten with him with your man crush.
Yeah, that's true. I have a man crush on Teddy Atlas. I have no problem with that.
All right. If you want to put that out there.
But I'm just saying that was a pretty, spirited response.
I'm not going to be responsible for all the negative PR that you get behind. I'm just letting you know that. The Beeb Industries PR team is not going to work overtime to cover.
They're not going to work overtime. Are they going to work overtime maybe we can get Helen Yee on the podcast. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can get her on the show.
Question that we can't get Helen Yee on this podcast.
There's no question we can't get Helen Yee on this podcast.
No.
What is Beeb going to throw the charm out there? He's gonna give her a one-liner and get her on here.
He is really good at the PR. You know how I can reach out to people. Reach out and touch someone. You know my abilities.
Oh my goodness, man! All right, so Helen Yee did an interview with Leonard Ellerbe, and Ellerbe said that she'd asked him about Crawford Spence, and he said point blank, period, that fight will not happen anytime soon. Not happening next, not happening.
And he said it with such conviction too. Like that is like at the bottom of my to-do list, or Errol Spence's to-do list.
Yes.
Like that fight's not going to happen until I don't know, spring equinox of 2023 or something.
Yeah, right. I mean, he was so and you tell me, I didn't know that he was that involved with, Errol Spence's career.
Well, here's the thing. Remember I complained about Mayweather Promotions, I think, last year, and I said that they need to get more involved with these Heyman fighters. And this year they've really gotten involved. They promoted a lot of these PBC guys' shows. They promoted Sean Porter's shows. They promoted, I think they promoted Danny Garcia's show with Granados. They promoted the Mikey Garcia Errol Spence fight, I think, too. If I'm not mistaken. I go back.
Ellerbe was there, so I mean, I wonder how close Ellerbe is with Heyman. As far as I guess he's got to be pretty close.
Well, they're finally doing what I suggested they should do. I'm not saying they listened to me, but I'm just saying. Because remember before they weren't putting on a lot of shows for a while, and we would say Mayweather needs to worry more about his fighters. And then I said, he should work with these Heyman fighters to really build the Mayweather Promotions brand and all that. Remember I was saying that last year?
Yeah.
And I think they've done a good job thus far. towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year so far doing that. And I take my credit, my hat off to them and give them full credit. I kind of like what LOB's doing now. LOB's out there. He's really pushing the fighters. Kudos to him. That's great for the fighters. Yeah. I admire that. Of course I didn't like hearing that they had no interest in fighting Errol Spence, but I mean, I'll take what I can get. I'll take friggin' Spence Porter. I'll take Spence Garcia. I'll take Pacquiao Thurman. I won't be crying over those fights.
What he said was real interesting, and he said, because I think she had asked him what the people want to see the fight between the two best welterweights, and he says no, the two best perceived welterweights. Doesn't mean they're the best welterweights out there. He says, and then he focused on Spence, and I think I thought that he wanted to make. I thought he said something about Spence being the best, and we just perceive Crawford. That's kind of where I thought it was going.
Yeah,
Joel Lopez 40 said that Ellerby wants to fight to marinate. Yeah, I agree. I think it is too soon. I'll be honest with you. If I'm a promoter, if I put on my promoter hat, this fight ain't happening right now. It's.
Well, especially if you're Spence, because I mean he's got so much on that PBC side.
Tons. Why not let that money run, man?
He's got so much to work with on that side of the fence.
Why would you, if you're PBC? And again, I mean, people are going to hate what I'm going to say, but if you're PBC, again, you got to put your promoter hat and manager hat on and all that. Take your fan hat off.
I know.
If you're PBC, I'm going to let that guy run its course. He's going to fight Garcia. He's going to fight Porter. He's going to fight, every PBC guy until we run out of big money fights, and then we'll fight Crawford.
I get it. I get it.
It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks because I want to see that fight like yesterday.
I definitely want to see that fight.
But the rumor is, what I've been reading is that he's going to fight Sean Porter in the summer. Errol Spence will. And Kell wants to fight Terrence Crawford. And what I like, too, is that Terrence Crawford is starting to fight some named guys now. And not that he hasn't before. That's not what I'm saying. But more recognizable guys, higher upper echelon guys, more guys in the public eye. I mean, he's fought a ton of champions already. He fought 7 or 8 champions, former champions? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, but he's fighting, what we would say is stiffer competition here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, just my 2 cents on it,
No, I see where you're coming from. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, from a fan's perspective, I get it. I get the complaining. I get the aggravation. I get the fact that people aren't happy with what's going on right now. I understand that, but I don't know. You got to look at this from every angle possible, and if you do that, you can see the reasoning behind it to a degree. Right,
and I mean that's the thing, and that's what you kind of gotta. What sucks about the whole thing is that you do have to put that rationale into it. How they're thinking it. If this was your guy,
and then we get accused of what do you want to be, the manager? You want to be the no? I'm just using common sense and logic.
Just logic. I mean, we're trying to tell you when these fights are going to happen and when they're not going to happen. I mean, and that's kind of the long and short of it. Okay, let's talk about this because Suleiman is in the chat going nuts about Manuel Char. What do I think of the AJ versus Char fight if it gets made? First of all, I don't know that fight's going to be made, but I will tell you this, just like I said a couple of days ago, Char's people are making a big push. Their PR-wise, I'm getting emails and everything like that saying that, hey, he's available. He wants to fight. I think AJ beats Char, and I think he beats him pretty easily, just my opinion. So yeah, I think that's what happens if they fight. But AJ is rumored to get. I mean, Andy Ruiz is like now the front runner. I mean, it would seem like it would take a miracle.
I don't hate that fight.
Out of that fight, Andy Ruiz has only got 1 loss,
and that was disputed. A lot of people think he beat Parker.
Yeah,
and look at freaking Dillian White went life and death with Parker. Almost got knocked out in the last round.
I don't think he went life and death with Parker. I thought that was a pretty one-sided fight.
How'd you score it? It was close.
With AJ and Parker?
No, I said Parker and Dillian
Oh,
White.
Parker and Dillian White. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
different fight.
That was like Parker almost beat him, but then White kind of beat him. So
Yeah.
and White's ranked number one by two sanctioning bodies.
And a lot of people were saying, well, what about Char? What about Dillian White? What about, but listen, you got to consider where the fight's taking place. You know what I mean? New York.
Well, this is ideal for Luis because he's coming right back. He's coming right back out of a fight into a fight, and in the fight that he's coming out of, he didn't take any damage, and he was already training hard, and now he can just transition right back into this fight, which would be great.
Yeah, this is a perfect scenario for Ruiz. He just got out of a fight where he didn't take a lot of damage. He's still in. I mean, he's trained. He's ready to go. Now all he has to do is just fine tune it for Joshua. That's it. I mean, he's going to be in good shape in the sense of good cardio shape. So it's a decent fight. Is it the fight I want to see? No. But hey, listen, man, that's nobody's. Listen, you can't blame AJ for that, and he's taking the best available opponent on that.
But let's be fair here. Is Big Baby Miller, in terms of skill wise and just talent wise, is he better than Ruiz? Is he better than Manuel Char? Is he better than some of these other guys, or do people get hyped and pumped up about him just because of the trash talk and all that, and because he was from New York and stuff? I mean, he was a good self promoter. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter, but in terms of skill wise, is he that much different than these other guys that are being thrown around right now?
I don't know. I mean, and unfortunately, we'll probably never know. I know he's a world class fighter.
But an argument can be made that maybe some of these guys could beat him.
Absolutely.
Like an Andrew Ruiz could beat him possibly.
Absolutely.
Maybe a Manuel Char could beat him too.
Possibly. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's the thing is that he's a world class fighter. And he's definitely a top 10 boxer. He knows how to move his feet. He's got good footwork from the kickboxing. He was an amazing kickboxer.
I think Ruiz is a better fighter than Big Baby Miller.
Well, I tell you, I can't argue with that.
I think he's a better boxer.
Argue with that.
I think you can argue he punches harder too. You can argue that he has faster hands. And this is all. I may have to stop throwing the functional 260 around when I talk about Andrew Ruiz now.
The functional 315. No wonder it was functional 315.
No, but he's functional 260. And you know what I like about Andrew Ruiz? He's actually he's coming down in weight.
He's losing weight. Yes.
And he's continuing to try to his goal is to get down to 245.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I got to send him some MegaFit meals.
I was just about to go there too. I was like, well, maybe he's on that MegaFit meal plan. Rafael Dawkins says he's got that butterbean body. Yeah, he does. And if I'm Anthony Joshua, I go for that body right now. But Andy Ruiz is going to come straight at him. It should be an entertaining fight while it lasts. I don't see Ruiz winning that fight. I don't think he comes close. But you never know. I mean, you never know.
Never know.
I mean, I hope he does well. I mean, because he saved that card. Tell you that.
Yeah.
If they do choose him, and who else are they going to choose? Louis Ortiz backed out. Konoski backed out. I mean, what else you got? You can only fight who's put in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to hope they pass a drug test and not, test positive for 3 different PEDs. Let's get back on the Miller thing. So it was brought to our attention today through several articles that there may be no punishment for Big Baby Miller. How? How, you say?
Wow.
Well, because apparently, excuse me, I'm actually fighting a cold today, so I do apologize. Apparently, he let his boxing license either lapse or expire, or it was something along those lines, or maybe he didn't. My guess is that he didn't renew it or something like that. Anyway, it lapsed. And he wasn't a registered boxer in New York. I guess he hadn't applied for his license yet. But that's right, because they denied him the license. Remember?
Yeah.
The State Athletic Commission denied his license.
Yeah.
So he was never really, I guess, technically a boxer per se. You know what I'm saying? He's not registered in the state of New York. That being said, that's a loophole, meaning they can't punish him. Now, if he tries to get a license in the state of New York, they're not going to give him one.
Yeah, but all the other commissions are going to follow suit. He's not going to be able to get licensed.
Come on, man. Seriously? Listen, if Tommy Morrison tested positive for HIV and fought, okay?
Where did he fight? Where did he fight?
I don't know, probably Bangladesh somewhere.
And who did he fight?
Probably some.
Now, if you want to turn this into blood sport, when the guys were like meeting, the freaking Jean-Claude Van Damme was fighting guys in pools.
He fought Tong Po over there in Bangladesh.
You're gonna go like meet someone at a freaking gym or something, or meet someone at a bar or whatever. You want to have those type of fights, yeah, those fights can get made, but he's never
Bobby Gunn in that warehouse,
Yeah, I mean, is he ever going to get a big fight again in a big arena and with a big time commission behind it?
Well, and let's think about this too. And Montero had the same point on Twitter. Who's going to pick him up? Who's going to license him, and who's going to promote him?
Nobody. Eddie Hearn's going to be done with him.
Yeah. I mean, how much money they sank into that promotion? They sank a ton, bro. A ton of money in that promotion. Flying all his boys to England.
But don't you think some of these commissions, like say he wants to fight in Vegas, or say he tries to fight in New Jersey, or say he tries to fight in California, like don't you think they'll say, you know what, we don't feel comfortable licensing you until you undergo stringent drug testing, or they can even say, you know what, we don't feel comfortable licensing you right now. They themselves can say, we'll put a provisional ban on you for 6 months or a year or whatever if they wanted to. They don't have to no commission has to license him. There's no law that says they have to license him.
Why did the Lennox Lewis-Mike Tyson fight take place in was it Memphis?
Memphis.
The hotbed of boxing over there, which is Memphis.
Yeah.
I mean, because Tyson couldn't get licensed in Vegas or something like that. He couldn't get licensed in Vegas or New York. Listen, if there's money to be made, they're going to make it. The problem lies in Mike Tyson as a draw. Big Baby Miller, not so much. He can't draw flies. All right? So he's going to have a hard time.
Mike Tyson wasn't allowed to fight because of what happened in that press conference when he bit Lennox Lewis's leg, and it was all so a lot of commissions were afraid to license that fight because they didn't want to deal with the melee that could potentially ensue when you put these two guys close to each other.
Right.
So let's look back in history. Mike Tyson had to go to Memphis to get his fight done with Lennox Lewis. So I'm just telling you right now, I think a lot of commissions are going to be sour on putting Big Baby Miller in the ring right now. That's just my opinion.
Right, and Big Baby Miller is not Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson is not fighting Lennox Lewis. I mean, you know what I mean? That was a big money fight. That was probably the biggest money fight of its time.
Yeah.
Who's Big Baby Miller going to fight to bring in water in that town?
No.
You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody. He ain't drawing no water in the town if he comes in there and fights. Nobody's coming from around the world to see him.
He's going to get frozen out for a little while, regardless of what happens.
I agree.
That's just
that's time promoter. The only one that's going to pick him up is going to be a small time promoter. That's it. Somebody who's just getting started, needs a break or something like that, and they need like a name or whatever. But that's it, man.
Yeah,
that's it. But he's done, man. I mean, really, because it's going to take him a while. Like you said, he's going to be frozen for a while. So who's he going to fight?
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to want to fight that guy? Who's going to want to put the money to promote that fight?
Once again, me and Raphael Dawkins disagree. Wow, that's surprising, huh?
He has promoters that want their money. Matchroom promotes him. I don't think they want anything to do with that guy.
Great Cohen promotes him too.
Yeah.
Dimitri Saliti promotes him, but here's the thing: his contract with all those other small guys like Great Cohen and Dimitri Salita is almost up. Yeah, but who's gonna try to make money off Big Baby Miller? He's not a big name. He's not like it's not like he's Tyson or he's freaking Klitschko or he's Joshua. So,
Jason in the chat said no blog talk today. No blog talk today. We're doing the freestyle. Me and Beeb freestyling. Doing the 5 fingers of death over here.
The producer had some prior engagements, so we had the producer is not here today, so we're gonna go scale back some of the technical stuff today.
Guys, New York, notorious now. NY, F.
Yeah, I'm not gonna entertain the thought of even having a debate about this. The guy's done. The guy's fucking done. He's done.
They let him off on a technicality. I mean, there was nothing really. I mean,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I don't.
OJ. Matters. Let me ask you this: OJ was found innocent of the murder of Nicole Simpson, right? This is a very dark and it's a very strong, crazy comparison.
Wow, you went deep.
But let me ask you this: even though OJ was innocent of that crime, right? Was his life ever the same? Did he go back to freaking making commercials and movies again? No. This is gonna destroy this guy's career because he failed. He was positive for 3 drugs. 3 drugs. His career's over.
And it's not like Miller was like this big draw to begin with.
He wasn't a draw anyways.
He wasn't headlining anything.
Don't just disagree for the sake of disagreeing and being a contrarian. The guy's career is over. He's done. He's done. He's going to be frozen up for at least 2 years, at least. And 2 years is a long time.
Jason just said maybe this was all planned to boost his profile. Son, you don't flush $6 million to boost your profile. I
don't understand how anyone can try to turn this into a positive.
Right.
I just don't understand how anyone can try to turn this into a positive.
OH, Ohio Runs Boxing in the chat. What's up, my man? Yeah, you can't turn this into a positive. There's no silver lining here.
How did New York fuck up? Why is it their fault? The guy didn't have a license. I mean, it's like what did they? I mean, so in other words, what you're saying is they were supposed to license him just in case he failed the drug test right away. So then they could friggin' suspend his license. I mean, you know what? Keep it up because it's good entertainment, man. It's good comedy.
Suleiman just said, have you seen the current WBA rankings? Miller is still on it. I think they update those like once a month. It's not updated automatically.
Well, Suleiman, with all due respect, let me know if he's in those same rankings in May.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it their job to ensure he has a license? No, it's not. They don't knock on every fighter's door and say, hey, do you have a license? You have to apply for a license to fight.
It's not their job. It's his job to ensure
it's his job to get a license.
Right.
I mean, again, I can't even go back with you because it's too funny. You're saying things that just are. I don't know. They're too crazy.
Right. Jason in the chat. Salute Suleiman. Salute Earthquake. Salute Raphael Dawkins. Salute E.M. Serrano. Salute. Thank you guys all for being here today. Some other quick news here. Zolani Tete suffered a shoulder injury, so my pie bet with Georgie is off. He's out of the Donaire fight, and he got replaced with Stephen Young. Is it Stephen Young, Beeb? That replaced him?
I don't know. I'll have to double check. I'm so sorry.
Somebody I've never heard of. I've never heard of. So
I'm so sorry.
I don't know if he's any good or not. I just don't know. I don't know. Marcos Maidana, your boy Beeb.
Love him.
Decided to stay retired. Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him, man. Because I tell you what, man, listen.
He started training camp and he started saying to himself, do I want to fucking go back to doing this shit again?
Started getting up at 5 in the morning to go run. He was like, what? What was it? It was a Hagler. It wasn't a Hagler that had that saying. He says, it's hard to get up and run when you're wearing silk pajamas.
Yeah. Look at Raphael still going, man.
He's still going on this as a
Just let
promotion.
Yeah, okay. Just let it go. So that's like so does the registry call up me and say, hey, you know what, you need to get your license? Like, no, if I don't renew my license, I don't renew my license.
You think the commission doesn't have anything better to do than to run down and babysit fighters?
Like what you're saying is just it's so beyond like ridiculous. It's like you can't really mean this. You're just trying to disagree. I know what you're doing. I know you're trolling. I know you're trolling. I know you're trolling, and it's okay. It's good. The show doesn't need that though. The show's good enough without the trolling. We don't need shock value. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Right. Just making noise.
That's what he's doing.
So yeah, Maidana decided to stay retired, and good for him. If your heart's not in it, man, you shouldn't be there, because you can get hurt. You can get hurt, man. So, also too, this just off the wire here. Devin Haney signs with Matchroom. How about that one?
Oh, that dude! The dog's gonna call in. He's gonna go nuts because
the dog man's gonna be excited, right?
Because he called it. He called it.
He called it a couple of weeks ago. We kept hearing rumors on it.
I think he brokered the deal himself. That guy is awesome. I should have had him do my Mega Fit Meals commercial, but my voice is a little better than his.
That's right. That's right. All right, Beeb, tell everybody about your Mexican supplements, or no, wait. What is it called?
I gotta have to do. Let me cue up the commercial.
Cue it up. Just give us your voice, man.
Well, I'm gonna cue it up, man.
Good Lord. This is so amateurish. He's putting his phone up to the microphone.
Don't tell people what I'm doing. That's the fourth wall. Now you're acting like Robbie.
Please, Beeb.
because the production people are off today. Okay, so
production people.
The production people are off today.
We have more thumbs up in here. It is a Thursday show. We
All right,
came out here right after work. Come on, give us thumbs up, man. What are you doing?
We're gonna give a shout out to our sponsor.
Check out megafitmeals.com by clicking the link in the description box. Megafit Meals is a family-owned meal delivery service that provides healthy meal options that have been weighed out, measured, and cooked with the highest quality ingredients. The people over at Megafit Meals have been in the food business for over 43 years, and they truly believe that the quality of food you eat can have an impact on your overall health and fitness. The goal at Megafit is to bring value to your life by providing high-quality, delicious food that makes you feel good. So make sure that you click that link and give them a try.
All right.
There you go. I don't know, man.
That's a great
Helen Yee. You're not going to get Helen Yee with those weak lines. I'll tell you that.
That's a great commercial right there. so we have to get that uploaded into the queue.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we do. There you go.
Look at Jason. Jason's calling. Jason's calling.
For what? Don't answer. No, don't answer because you can't ever hear him.
I know. Because you don't.
I'm gonna call after the show.
Well,
whoa! Ohio Runs Boxing. Thank you so much, man. He says, "Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much." OH, baby. OH.
And the link will be in this description box after the show. So feel free to go back there and click the link.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's see what else is going on here. I almost forgot this. Did you see the belt, the Mayan belt?
I don't like it.
How dare
you? I don't like it.
What do you mean you don't like? What's not to like?
Can I ask you a question without you making fun of me?
Maybe.
I set myself up for that one, didn't I? What is a Mayan?
It's an Indian.
Okay.
Mayan Indians, right?
Like Mexican Indians?
Yeah, but they were from Mexico. Yeah, right?
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I don't know.
Okay. You're Mexican. You don't know what it is?
I'm not. Ohio Runs Boxing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate that, man.
Absolutely,
thank you so much.
Man.
Thank you so much, man. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Jason said there's Mayan and Aztecas. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Erica's in Chicano. Can't argue with it. Let's see here. Anything else? Oh, yes. Mikey Garcia becomes champion emeritus. I can't even yell loud enough.
You're so mad. You're so mad. You're stuttering.
Right. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Why in the world what is a champion emeritus? What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but what does it mean? Why do we have that? No other sanctioning body has that. It means he's dumping the title.
I don't mind doing that if a guy's injured or if a guy retires. But if a guy's active, no.
Or like making Muhammad Ali a champion emeritus. That's different. Joe Louis, something like that. Ohio Runs Boxing, thank you once again, my man. Ohio, baby. Ohio, son. Suleiman says, how is Ohio? It's Title Town, baby. That means it's great. That's how it is here.
Jason wants to call in so bad. He's
call in.
He's fiending right now.
Is what it is, son. Is what it is. A great boxing town or not? Is it a great boxing town? Not really. I got to be honest. No, it's not. Cincinnati is not a great boxing town because, I'd like to give you an example. Like Bronner, when Bronner came in here and everything like that, it was. I mean, they don't really sell out big fights here. You know what I mean? So, as far as a boxing town, I don't know, man. But Toledo sold out when Easter was there.
What about Aaron Pryor?
Not much in Toledo.
Aaron Pryor. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. Aaron Pryor.
Yes, he did very well here. Aaron Pryor did very well here.
Kelly Pavlik.
Pavlik is from Youngstown, and he never. I mean, I don't know that he ever fought around here that much. He was usually fighting in Vegas and stuff like that.
Cincinnati's in Ohio, Tone.
Yeah, wasn't the Hawk from Cincinnati? Yes, he was. Cincinnati, Aaron Pryor. Yeah, Ezra Charles was from here, too.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, Ohio does. And you know what? And he's right. Ohio Runs Boxing is right, man. Ohio has the best fighters in the world. The best fighters in the world all come from Ohio. The best promoters, Al Heyman, Don King, they all came from Ohio.
That's right.
The best fighters on the planet come from Ohio. But for whatever reason.
Lois is from Ohio.
She shipped from Amazon to Ohio. Is that what
she used to live? Lois? She used to live in Ohio before she came into the East Coast.
Your blow up doll used to live on the East Coast.
Stop with the misogyny. I already told you.
The misogyny. I mean, that's what it is.
We're gonna lose the one sponsor we have because you're misogyny.
Exactly. All right, guys. 4 Dead in Ohio by Neil Young. I've not heard that. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for the show today. If anything drops or Anthony Joshua chooses an opponent, makes it official, we'll be on for that. Otherwise, you can catch our show on Sunday where we'll have all the review and everything like that. Legendary says we need Robbie. Hey, I agree.
All you do is make fun of him when he's on here. Now all of a sudden you love him now.
Yeah, that's why he needs Robbie.
You know why he wants Robbie? Because he likes to bully Robbie. Because we give him that work every week, but he wants Robbie because he thinks he can handle Robbie. He can't handle us. That's why.
I don't blame him. All right, guys. So we will see you Sunday or maybe sooner. I don't know. We'll see. Yep. All right, guys. Have a great one. And Ohio Runs Boxing, once again, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Salute, guys. Is Skype fixed? No, it's not. Salute.